Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Joe and Ro Talk Toastmasters, a podcast designed specifically for Toastmasters by Toastmasters. But our viewers are more than Toastmasters, friends, guests, anyone who's ever interested in public speaking and leadership and communication. You guys are most welcome to our podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest with us. And I know Ron was giving me that look, Joe, you always say the same thing. But he is indeed a very special person. I'm very fortunate to know the guest tonight. Like, I won't say I'm very close to him, but whatever small conversations that I've had with him, little bit of interactions, they have been so impactful in my life and my journey as a Toastmaster that I'm so happy to have him as a guest tonight, because I'm sure that this conversation tonight is going to impact a lot of people in the crowd, both watching right now live with us and those who are going to watch and listen on Spotify and YouTube. Before we go into the podcast, small rules, a little bit of instructions. We are Toastmasters. We can't live without rules, right? So it's all simple. Grab your cup of tea and coffee, chill, relax, and sit back and enjoy for an hour of conversation. We only request you, please do not unmute yourself. Always be on mute, because this is a three-way conversation between the host, Ron, and myself, and Ramanathan Sir, who's our guest today. Yes, our special guest today is none other than Distinguished Toastmaster, Ramanathan N.S. A very formal introduction for Ramanathan Sir. He's a dual member of Thane and Godbanda Toastmasters Club and has more than 2 decades of experience in Toastmasters. He believes that participation and doing our best paves the path for our self-development, especially in Toastmasters, and says that winning is just a consequence. Wow. Now, this is a line I suppose one can only build or make after 20 years of experience in Toastmasters. Before I go to Ron and ask him what he thinks about Ramanathan Sir and what his experiences are, let me share a small story. I have been in Toastmasters just for a year, and the last year was my first time ever competing and contesting. So the first time I saw Ramanathan Sir was on a screen like this in the area level ESC contest. He was my, he was another contestant who was competing. And I saw him and I was like, okay, he's good. And the fact that he's good, yet he's such an elderly person, an experienced person, and that comes with a lot of respect, sir, made me think about, okay, this is someone I have to think about. This is someone I can learn something from. The second interaction that I had was in the division conference when I was having the division ESC contest. I was all alone in that conference. Honestly, I couldn't find my club members. I had just come down off stage after giving my ESC contest, at that point of time. And in the lobby, I met Ramanathan Sir. And I didn't know him and he didn't know me. But he said, hey, you just came down the stage. I saw your ESC speech. It was very good. I liked it. He was the first person to comment to me, a stranger, that he liked the ESC contest and he liked my speech. That is the power and beauty of Ramanathan Sir. For a stranger like me, just 1 year in Toastmasters, when I was feeling all lost, he came and encouraged me and gave me tips how to become better. So imagine tonight, how many of you are going to get that positivity and encouragement? That is my lovely story and my lovely interaction with Ramanathan Sir. Over to you, Ron. You have been 11 years in Toastmasters. What has been your experience with this incredible man here?
Ramanathan Sir has been an inspiration for me and for a lot of Toastmasters who've been in the district for a long time. And every interaction with him is fun, interesting, knowledgeable. He always is friendly and willing to share. Again, like you, I also have a story of Sir in one of the contests where we were taking part in a table topics contest, and it was a physical contest. And we were like taken to the breakout area, all of us. And even in that contest, while everybody was so tense, Ramanathan Sir was calming everybody down, encouraging, don't worry, just take a breath, be calm, just think clearly, speak. And his presence was so calming for the entire group. I don't remember whether he won or not. I think he would have won easily. But I think because of his presence, everybody's table topics level went up. That is the kind of person he is. Even if he's a competitor, he's always willing to share, encourage. And I think everybody in the district who's interacted with him has a Ramanathan Sir story. I think everybody will have something like that. He's that kind of person. And I really wanted him to come on this podcast because 20 years in Toastmasters. Can you just imagine the wealth of experience, knowledge, and still going strong. Absolutely no sign of any kind of this. So a real inspiration to me and to a lot of Toastmasters. And like everybody else, I want to listen to his stories. I want to understand his background and learn something from him because he's amazing. So over to you, Joe. Let's get started.
There's a
Yes, so
there's a good point. Thank you very much, both of you, for the lovely interaction. I don't remember the interaction with Joanne, but I definitely remember the interaction with Ron, because I was the contestant number 5 and Ron was the contestant number 6. I went on the stage, and this is something which I tell people, that Toastmasters teaches you the art of listening carefully. And that day, my listening carefully went to the sky, I could say, because the topic was what I heard. 1,000, no, sorry, what is that? A pain present,
Picture is worth 1,000 words, something like that.
yeah, a pain spaces spreads 1,000 words or something like that.
Yes.
Paints 1,000 words, correct.
Yes.
A picture paints 1,000 words. Now I remember. A picture paints 1,000 words was the topic, and I heard it as a picture paints, P-A-I-N-S, instead of P-A-I-N-T-S. And I was giving the speech, a fantastic speech. I started with the picture that was clear. Then how that picture was showing me the pain I suffered in life and all, but no connectivity with the topic given. I was looking at the people. Some of the people were just looking at me like poker face. I said, "Oh God, I am going wrong somewhere." But I couldn't catch up. By the time the 2 minutes was over, I got on the stage. And the next contestant was Ron, and Ron heard the speech, I mean, topic very clearly, and he went on to contest at the district level. So even the contest chair came and apologized, "Sir, maybe I made a mistake." I said, "Okay, it happened. Don't worry about it." Because if you have made a mistake to everybody, others also should not have spoken correctly. But I saw Ron speaking fantastically well. So that means the mistake is not on your part, the mistake is on my part.
One of the rare occasions, I guess.
No, it happens. It happens. I tell people, don't worry. As I always say, participation and doing our best is our commitment. Winning is just a consequence. And that day I did not do well, so I don't deserve to win. That is it. So this
so
is the
Ramanathan,
Yeah.
Ramanathan sir, before you go into like each and every aspect, because we have to cover 20 years in an hour, it's going to be a impossible feat, I feel. But let's try. Let's see where it all started. Where it all started in 2002, you started your journey with Toastmasters from Saudi Arabia. Can you take us back to 2002? Do you remember when it all started? What was the first time as a guest? Where did you go? And what was your impact? What did you feel when you first time went into a Toastmasters meeting?
It was actually in May 1998 in the eastern province, Jubail, eastern province of Saudi Arabia, that the first club was incorporated, Jubail Toastmasters Club. I went there as a guest, and I continued to be the guest in that. And my mentor, guide, philosopher, Distinguished Toastmaster, P.G. Radhakrishnan, at that time he was only a Toastmaster. He was enticing me to join this wonderful platform, but I took a back seat. But many a time I was a guest, and you will be surprised that I was even taking up roles because there were hardly 6 people in the meeting. So I will be like, Dual Master grammarian or R counter, because we have to fill up the things, and I know what are the roles practically. Then PGR, as I call him, asked me, "Rama, why you are not joining?" I will make a fool of myself on the stage, forget it. In a group of people, I can talk very nicely. Then in 2002, our company started this club, Arabian Toastmasters Club. And my company was known as AYTB. I have quoted this many a time. In our company, the philosophy is AYTB, otherwise AYT. Always yes to boss, otherwise all your trouble begins. So 50% of the fees we have to pay, and 50% the company sponsored. And there my journey started. And I regretted this procrastination of my joining Toastmasters. And I have said this innumerable times on stage. And I'd urge all the youngsters today, this is a golden opportunity for you to mold yourself, to gain self-confidence. Come on stage, speak, make blunders, make mistakes. It doesn't matter. It is all learning lessons for you. And from 2002 till today, one of the things that I believe in is participation in every contest possible. Rarely will be there when you don't see me participating in a club level contest. If I win, I go to the area, division, district, like that. That is the beauty of this Toastmasters fraternity. Go ahead.
So, Ramanathan sir, you said you regretted those 2 years that you didn't join as a Toastmaster.
4 years.
Now, 4 years that you didn't join as a Toastmaster. There's something very interesting you spoke, that I'm really good at talking when there is a group of people, but I'll make a fool of myself if I'm alone on the stage. Can you elaborate on that? Why? You're such a great speaker. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sure many in the audience, that what was that fear that you had, and how in these 20 years that thought has changed?
Basically, it was a fear in the mind. It is not that actually it would have happened, because once I moved onto the stage and started giving speeches, I could win. Out of the 10 speeches in the competent communication manual, I was the best speaker for 9 out of 10. So I that is why I regretted. I said, oh, I didn't know the talent that was inside me, even though my mentor PGR was pushing me all the time. So I realized that let us not delay things. Let us plunge into the water and start learning swimming. And this is the mistake I did. It was only a fear in my mind. I go on stage and talk something nonsense and people laugh at me. But that never happened. Even when I made the mistake in that division contest, people came to me and said, Rama sir, your speech was fantastic, but somehow you missed that point. That was the encouragement they gave. And that is what is Toastmasters is all about, giving encouragement, giving support. And in Saudi Arabia, you can understand, lot of Saudis, they are not very good in English, though they have got lovely ideas. And Arabs are one of the best humorous people you can find across the world. And at that time, we had also a lot of other restrictions due to the constraints in the rules and regulations of Saudi Arabia. So Toastmaster meetings are also, ladies have to be separate, they have to wear the abaya. There are a lot of conditions. Suddenly religious leaders will come and check. If there are some violations, you may be landing up in jail. All these are things are there. But slowly and steadily, SABIC and Aramco, the two companies where Saudi government had the influence, recognized Toastmasters as a wonderful platform. And today, Saudi Arabia is 2 districts. And you all know that Muhammad Al-Kahani, who was a person who was stammering when he started his career in Toastmasters, became the world champion. So this is where Toastmasters can take people to. And today Toastmasters is being recognized all over the Gulf in a very big way. Even Arabic is recognized as a language in Toastmasters. So that is the beauty of Toastmasters. So that is what I'm trying to tell people now that we have started Kahani in English. People tell me, kya English mein kya karta hai? I mean, what is the problem? There are people who can speak very nicely in Hindi. They are not able to communicate well in English. So it doesn't matter. Ultimately, we have to connect with people in whatever language we speak. What we are feeling should be made to understand to the people opposite sitting us. And for that, language is only a media. It is not the be all and end all of it. So that is what I try to tell people. Join Toastmasters, start talking to people, come on stage, get rid of your fear, and you can see wonders happening to yourself. Please go ahead.
So, wow, like so many things that came to my mind. The first thing was, you could go to jail, yet you guys persisted and, continued your Toastmasters journey. Was it worth it? Of course, I'm sure it was, because 20 years down the line, you're still a Toastmaster. And the second thing is, you spoke about Muhammad Katani, who was stuttering, and now he's a world champion. Could you elaborate your experience with Muhammad Katani? I know you have met him. I know you have spoken to him. You have seen him. Can you just put a little bit light on that? Not his success, but the obstacles that he've overcome to reach that place. Because I think that is something we all need today. We all are at that starting point with fears in our mind, especially now contest season is coming. And there are many people in our club also who are like, I'm not ready for it. I'm not good enough. I'm not a great speaker. I won't win. So then why contest? Then you give an example like Muhammad Katani. Can you please elaborate and let us know?
I did not know him so well in Saudi Arabia, though I have met him once. But when he came to Hyderabad, I started talking to him, and we had some common friends, Saudi friends. Khalid Al Mutliq, who was instrumental in the Sabic side of Toastmasters progressing. So Mohammed Katani was telling me, yes, I really was feeling a little lost in this whole world of Toastmasters initially. But Rama, one thing Khalid used to say is always go ahead, go move forward. And that is what I did. And he told me that he has sent his final speech to 560 people. I was shocked to get feedback before he went on to the world championship. After the what you call regional level champions, he has sent to nearly 560 people for their review. So this is
How did he send that? Through a video, or how did
I
he
don't
send
know,
it?
Hyderabad. I met him in Hyderabad.
No, how did he send the speech to those people? He
That
recorded it and sent it?
I'm sorry, I didn't ask him that.
Okay.
Whether he sent it by video or just the email, I didn't ask him.
Acha.
But we met, just spoke for about 4 or 5 minutes. In I have taken even a photograph of it. It's there in my Facebook also. It was a memorable moment for me. So Mohammed Al Khatani was telling me some stories of Saudi Arabia, which was interesting to me. I was recalling some days of mine there with him. So in those process, I told him, yeah, I'm very happy that you won the world champion. Oh, Rama, it was a very Herculean task. I said 560 people, I said, and I didn't ask him how many responded.
Hmm.
That is another thing. You know, we may send to somebody, but somebody may not respond because of the reason. That has happened to me also. But we should not take it to our heart. I always say that as a mentor and a mentee relationship happens in our Toastmasters. A mentee may send you a speech, but it is our duty as a mentor to tell the mentee that, yes, I'm very busy, I'll come back to you. Otherwise, you can always tell him that, can you send it to somebody else? Right now, I'm very busy. So these sort of simple, small things I learned in Toastmasters. We should respond and not, be keeping quiet and leaving the ball to the other man's court is not a good thing. So especially as a mentor. And as a mentee, I have felt if the mentor is not responding, I send a message to him. Nowadays, WhatsApp is there. I send a message to him. It seems you are very busy. I've sent you a speech. Can you please look at it? I am giving the speech on Saturday. And my mentor comes back and says, oh, Rama, don't worry, I'll do it by tonight. And incidentally, my mentor is in this group is none other than Toastmaster Vittal Madiwan.
Vittal sir is there here today.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
So I'm very happy. We are mutually supporting each other.
But let me ask you, you still have a mentor and you still send your speeches to a mentor?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Okay, that's
amazing.
news. Yeah,
I think
that's news for all the people out there,
I
right,
think
Ron?
I need a mentor.
Yeah, because this is very, very important, even for newcomers, to convince them. Please send your speech, right? Please send your speech. As a mentor, I have to tell my mentees, please send your speech. Please write it. Please take an audio recording if you're shy to give a video recording so that I can go through it and help you. But here we have Ramanathan Sir, who is 20 years into Toastmasters, yet he sends his speech to his mentor. Wow, hats off to you, sir. That is a good lesson that we are taking back home. Age doesn't matter, experience doesn't matter. If you have a mentor, take full advantage of that person. Send your speeches. Ron, you have something to share?
Yeah, what I love about Ramanathan sir is he always does the basics very well. You know, he understands the fundamentals of Toastmasters very well. So somebody like me can become a little arrogant after time. Ki, why do I need a mentor? You know, I have been mentoring others for years now. But to see somebody like Ramanathan sir saying, I still have a mentor and he gives me feedback on my speeches, that's a little bit of a this for me, wake up call for me as well, that no matter how much time you and how much experience you have, you can always learn from others and have a mentor. I'm always love the fundamentals Ramanathan sir does so well, and that's where you learn from him the fundamentals of this Toastmasters experience. Go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
I would like to share one more thing with Toastmaster Vittal. We are staying very close, hardly some 10 minutes walking distance. So when Vittal, I am Vittal's mentor and Vittal is my mentor. So we are mutually supporting each other. So I used to go to his house and deliver the speech. Sometimes his wife also is hearing my speech and she says, oh, this doesn't ring well. Like when Vittal sir comes to my house, my wife is an English teacher. So he will correct some grammatical mistakes that Vittal sir is doing and all. And incidentally, at the area level humorous speech contest, that is a time when Vittal won the first prize and I won the second prize. And Vittal came on stage and said, this cup belongs to Toastmaster Ramanathan and his wife. Because a day earlier he was in our house practicing the speech and people were shocked that we were competing with each other and we were supporting each other. That is the spirit of Toastmasters. I tell
Absolutely.
people that always try to support others in whatever way you think is the best. But if it doesn't take up that particular idea of yours, don't feel bad. There is a favorite sentence of mine to all my mentees: Sabka Suno, man ka Karo.
That's very
Wow.
nice. Interesting.
Sabka suno, man ka karo. Like these are all revelations for me. And like at this age and with this experience, still you go to your mentor and exchange your speeches and you're helping each other. Let me come to one very important question. I think at this point of time is, how do you stay humble after 20 years of so much achievement in Toastmasters? And your achievements are not small. Everybody knows you. You have been a mentor, you are sponsoring clubs, you're always there everywhere. I know that, I've seen you. How do you stay humble? Because as Ron said, we are humans, and there is that aspect of arrogance that comes to us, that I know it all. But I have not experienced that from you. What is the secret behind staying humble? Please let us know that.
I think it comes from my father. My father was a teacher in a school in Matunga, and some of the teachers had an issue with the principal of that school. And they left the school and went and started another school in Sion, especially catering to the poor people of Dara. But he told me, you continue in the same school. So I continued in the same school. Now, there was an animosity of that headmaster with my uncle and my father. They were all teachers in the school. So invariably, if I have not worn a button in my shirt, he will catch me and see that I am standing at the punishment stand, which is known in our school as Satyanasti Parodharmaha. Means telling the truth is the honest way. But I know very well that he is catching me not because of this small button not put, but because of that particular interactions he had with my uncle and my father. And I never used to say, I have to come home and tell my father, it doesn't matter. Don't worry. If you are going to stand for one period like that, don't argue with him. You continue with whatever you want to do in a proper way. And that is exactly what I'm doing in Toastmasters. So in Toastmasters, what I tell people is, it's okay यार, गलती तो होते रहता है. तो क्या है, XCOM group में कभी-कभी गलती हो जाता है. Sometimes people feel, oh, Ramanathan is really poking his nose in every Tom, Dick and Harry affair of the club. It happens because I am sometimes crossing the limits. But somebody has to point it out, and when they point out, I tell them, oh, don't worry, I'm very sorry. So please go ahead. And suddenly somebody opposes your ideas, don't feel bad about it. This is another thing we learned in Toastmasters. What are we here for? Think for a minute. That's what I tell people. You are here in Toastmasters because you want to improve yourself. You want to improve people around you, to improve their personality and see that they succeed in their life. Even if you are around 29 or you are 35 or you are 45, you are 70, whatever it is. And I'll tell you, Toastmasters is such a wonderful platform. It doesn't stop with just Toastmasters meeting. It goes much, much beyond that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened in Saudi Arabia, not in Qatar, in Oman. When I was in Oman, one of my friends lost his job. He has to leave the country in 30 days. And there was a big fight between him and the management. And he cannot continue in Oman because the management was very powerful. There was a networking in Toastmasters, and he went to Qatar. It happened.
Yeah.
We were talking about cancer for my grandson way back in 2019. When that particular issue cropped up, I was in Mr. Vittal's house only, and we put up a appeal to people the next day to go to Tata Memorial and for donation of blood and platelets. And my dear friends, you should be shocked to know that lot of Toastmasters went there. The next day, 7 Toastmasters were already there. And some of them I don't know. They have got the message that Ramanathan's grandson is having this problem, then they are there. Why? Because Toastmasters creates empathy. That's what I tell you. One of the best qualities in life. So Toastmaster is not just a platform for developing your communication skills and leadership. No, it turns you into a wonderful, better human being.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely.
So this is what I
I
say.
I wish everyone listens to this episode, even if you have not heard any of our episodes, because this is I think, the most powerful message both Ron and I believe, will want to give out to Toastmasters. Leadership is a different thing, communication is a different thing. Don't get that power hungry, don't get into that. Remember what Ramanathan said. Toastmasters creates empathy. That empathy is a quality, I feel, if you can get that from Toastmasters, everything else will come on this, because everything else you can get outside, honestly you can, but where will you find this community of encouraging positive and empathetic people? That is very difficult, I feel. And that is where I feel your journey in Toastmasters is incredible, sir. You started with Saudi Arabia, you spoke about Oman, and then in 2015 you came to India and you started your journey in India as a Toastmaster. Can you tell us what is the biggest difference you found in Indian Toastmasters fraternity compared to the Gulf countries? Something positive, something you feel like we could improve.
My experience in the Gulf is that Toastmaster is a serious business in Gulf. It is not just take it easy platform, not at all. When people come to the meeting, they come well dressed in a coat as the formal meeting is coming, and they well planned. Everything is well planned. Planning is a big idea even today in the Gulf, which I find lacking in many clubs in India, in my experience and interaction. So my favorite quote there in Gulf also was that plan your work, work your plan. For example, when Toastmaster Ron told me about this podcast, I said, this is the first time I'm coming. I don't know what to do. He said, don't worry, sir. You are on Zoom meeting. Think about it like that. And you will be just narrating the experiences you have. We'll be asking questions. We will have interactions and all. So, Ron, what do you say about that when we had the first interaction?
Yep, absolutely. I was very surprised that you had not been on many podcasts with your experience and knowledge. But I think having you has been a coup for us for absolutely this. Yeah, and I completely agree. What I wanted to ask is, what do you think? Why is it in India that you feel that the level of planning and the level of engagement is little less than what was there in the Middle East? You think it's the culture, or are people too busy, or is it too many things in their lives? What do you think is the factor that, and is there a solution for that? How do your club members, how do you ensure that they are more on the ball when it comes to Toastmasters?
It's just my opinion, actually. I find that in some of the clubs that I had visited, they are just coming for the meeting to ensure that the meeting goes on. What is that a person has to get from the meeting? What is that the members who attend the meeting should get from the meeting? This has to be impressed upon the members. It's not an easy job, let me tell you very frankly. It is committed Toastmasters who come together and sit together, plan for the members of the club. And when we find some members not attending the club meeting, there should be a follow-up. I know very well that some club members, when I ask them why they are not seen for more than 3-4 weeks on one-to-one basis, they tell me that this is what has happened, sir. Thank you for calling us. We'll definitely come back. I don't know how many clubs are doing that. We have to show as the leaders that we care for our members.
Okay.
And this is very much in the Gulf. If somebody is not seen for 3 meetings, somebody from the club is calling him and telling him, what happened to you? Are you back in India? Have you lost your job? What has happened? We are not seeing you for 3 weeks.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yes.
That makes a connectivity between the members, not only just as a Toastmaster, but outside the Toastmaster. I'll tell you today what happened. A small incident. Santosh Akela should excuse me for that. On his wedding day, he went online for a meeting for 15 minutes. And somebody who had attended the meeting told me this. I said, I know him. He's like that. Because he interacts me with a lot, and we are competitors at different levels also, at division level, district. But that is fine. He's a what you call a different style of Toastmaster I have met in my life. So
That that actually brings me to one of the most important questions. Sorry, Joe, I'll just take it a little ahead. This brings
Please
me to
go
one
ahead.
of the most important questions, I think for myself personally, this is the main reason which I wanted you on the podcast. Is a lot of people have this distinction between their normal life and then the Toastmasters. And I keep hearing this over and over again that Arey, Toastmasters is taking up so much time in my life. Toastmaster is taking up so much of my time and energy. And I always feel that kind of a little bit weird because Toastmaster is also one of the most important parts of your life. In fact, it could be one of the more valuable parts of your life, even more than maybe what you do at work also. So for me, what you've done is integrated Toastmasters into your life so beautifully is something which I also want to learn, and I want others to learn that Toastmaster is not something that you do. Toastmaster is something that you be in your daily life. It is kind of an amalgamation of your identity. So what are your thoughts on that? How do we kind of mesh Toastmasters into our life so that everything is enriched and everything is improved?
Ramanathan sir, before you answer this, I also want to add something to this question. As a newcomer, like I've been just 1 year in Toastmasters, and Ron, what you said, like Toastmasters is taking too much of time. I am at that stage right now. I have started getting that feeling. I'm the VP education of my club, and honestly, there are days when I feel like this is getting too much, right? Like this is taking too much of my time. Isn't this supposed to be just a hobby or just a club activity? Why am I getting so burdened by this pressure of being a Toastmaster and a good Toastmaster, a good leader, a good speaker? Ramanathan sir, please, what are your thoughts on this? And how do we get over this thought? 20
Very,
years of your. Yes, sir.
there are 3 points I tell. One is the first one I already told you, plan your work and work your plan. So when you are
Okay.
planning your different activities, like I have got at least about 7 activities, including stock market, finance consultancy, family matters. You go on listing, that will be there. I've got social connections. I go for parties. So birthday parties. So you have to plan out how you are going to manage. And if you are not able to manage something, you should have the guts to say, sorry, I will not be there. Please excuse me. This sort of open talks and frank talks helps a lot. This is one thing. The second thing is compartmentalize your activity. For example, you have got job activities. Maybe your job activity is demanding 8 hours of your work time. Now, let me ask you, both of you, how many time you spend for yourself in a day? Only for yourself, not Toastmasters related.
Not much actually, if you see.
I spend 2 hours every day, minimum.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
The only person who identifies this is my mentor, Vittal Madiwal. Because he will see that my mobile is not on and I have not come into WhatsApp group. They can, I don't know, there's some method by which you can see last minute when logged on and all that. So he will tell me, Rama sir, 3 घंटा हो गया, कहाँ गए थे?
And what do you do during this 2 hours?
I may be having a nice nap from 4:30 to 7:30. Or I may be watching a Malayalam or a Tamil movie, because in Saudi Arabia, there is no theater when those days. Now only the theaters have started. So I have missed a lot of, I watch Tamil, Malayalam, English, Hindi, sometimes Telugu. So what happened was I missed all those, and anytime we want to see a movie, we used to go all the way from Jubail to Bahrain.
Wow.
And it will be the Toastmaster gang, with the families, with the children. And about 7, 8, 9 cars will go. And we have to cross the border, get the stamp on the passport, then enjoy 2 days in Bahrain. And if there is a Toastmaster meeting in Bahrain, we all attend that meeting. So it is it is a wonderful session of about 16 years in Saudi Arabia. We used to mix the life with Toastmasters, integrate it as you how do you integrate? This is one of the methods. So when you do that, I tell people, somebody may go to a gym. When you go to gym, don't have the mobile with you. Don't have any connectivity with anybody. Go to gym and do whatever you want to do in the gym with respect to your health. For example, Vittal Madiwal does meditation and yoga for about 45 minutes every day. You cannot catch him at that time. I'm just giving personal thing. Vittal Madiwal will excuse me for that. So these are the things you learn in life. give yourself a time other than Toastmasters. Whatever is your best, you enjoy, do it. I enjoy watching movies in the theater. So even when my daughter says, no, it is coming in Netflix, I can, no, I want to go and see in the theater. Come, you are coming. And once a month, we all family members go for a movie in the theater. And after that, we have dinner together. So this is quality time with your family members. How many of you are doing it? I don't know. So this is the bonding of relationship. So when I go to Toastmasters meeting, my family members don't feel offended because I give them time out.
It's a very good point, Ramanathan Sir. Very interesting point of how to compartmentalize your life so that neither your family or friends feel offended that you're in Toastmasters, nor do you feel the burden of it being too much at one point of time. I wish all our senior Toastmasters also are listening to this podcast right now. Please don't say, I have to spend more time with my family. As Ron said, Toastmasters is not a separate thing. It is your identity. It is a part of who you are. And learn from Ramanathan Sir some life lessons here. Compartmentalize, and most importantly, have the guts to say no when things are too much. Right, Ramanathan Sir? Thank you so much for that point. Let me ask you this question. But before that, if anyone in the audience right now has any question for this great person who's here with us, put it in the chat box. You won't get a chance like this to ask him questions. He is literally right now, he is like a box of stories, a box of wisdom and pearls. We have to get as much as we can out of him. So if you guys have any interesting questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll get it back to you from Ramanathan Sir. Ron, do you have any question or shall I go ahead?
I have just one more question quickly. Is that you mentioned a lot, and I think Sham, if you know Toastmaster Sham, he also mentions that in the Middle East, the families are very involved in Toastmasters. And I've not seen that much here. Yeah, we have these special meetings where the family comes and attends and supports us, and of course the family supports us at home also, which is why we can do what we do in our meetings and in our contests. But is there a way that we can involve our families more in Toastmasters, or does that not make sense at all? That it's okay, let families be where they are and we do our own thing. What are your ideas on that, of involving family in Toastmasters?
So involving family does help. I do agree. But in Gulf, especially Saudi Arabia, for information, when Sham was giving his icebreaker way back, I think in 2015 or 2016, I think I was his evaluator.
Okay.
So I think, but I was in the meeting, definitely. We gave it in the Arabian Toastmasters Club in Jubail. But I think I was his evaluator. Anyway, so there what happens is, because Saudi Arabia is such a closed society, the ladies come to the meeting because that is an outgo for them. So don't compare that with India. India is a different atmosphere. There are a lot of avenues here where ladies can go and have their own time, quality time with their friends, their families, and move forward. So how do you make them interested in Toastmasters? This is a very valid question. You have to share with them what you are doing in the club. Suppose you are giving a speech, practice with your life partner. Or my grandson listens to my speech for information. I tell him, hey, time my seats. Check whether I am exceeding. If I am exceeding, you should throw the red card. He said, oh, very good, very good. So, this is the way you involve them. And suppose you get an award or a prize, put it in the family group. I'm very happy to say that today I got this. For example, today a small memento was given to me as a mentor in Johnson's Controls Toastmaster meeting, because I'm the club mentor. Today was the 25th celebration meeting. Just a memento, small memento, but it is a valuable memento for me. Because it is recognizing my services to the club. I took a photo of it and put it in my family group. Already my nephew, my brother's son, has said, congratulations, Bada Papa. All the best. Fine. They feel happy when you are happy. Make them happy. And if they want to attend something, some Toastmasters special meeting, you tell them come there. Some guest fees is there, you pay from your pocket. And ensure that they attend the meeting. This way, you involve the families in Toastmasters, telling them it is just not coming on stage and giving a lecture or a speech. No, it is involvement, teamwork, communication, coordination, so many factors. And the youngsters will know better. My nephew knows better. I told him, this will help you in your business. Take it from me, I told. So you find out what are the interests of your family members and try to connect Toastmasters with those interests. And believe me, things will be very smooth in the family.
So Amit has a very interesting question, Ramanathan Sir, addressed to you. He says, how is speaking in Toastmasters different from speaking in the outside world? That's the real world. Are there any habits we pick at Toastmasters that may not be necessary in the outside world? So that's like a double-edged question. How does it help you? And are there any topics I feel like you do traits and talents that we need to not take it to the outside world? What do you think?
One of the things that I tell people is when you're on the stage and giving a speech, there are some project objectives requirement. So you may be doing some drama, some emotional outburst, which is not practically applicable in the corporate life or a professional life. But at the same time, you learn a lot of how to manage the situation. Let me give you one example. Way back in 2006, I think, I had gone back to Saudi Arabia, Jubail, after a holidays, Diwali holidays. And that was their Thursdays, Fridays are holidays. Saturday is the like Mondays here. And Saturday morning, 8:30, there was a meeting in my general manager's office. And all the finance and admin people were sitting there. And my general manager, Khalid Al Dosri, gave a firing. How can it happen? 2.7 million Saudi riyals paid twice. And Rama, what were you doing? You were sleeping? I don't know ABC or what had happened because I was on vacation. I just looked at him. We'll find out, sir, not an issue. What do you mean not an issue? How will you get the money? When I just was looking at him and nodding my head, nothing, saying nothing, keep quiet. Then when he finished after about some 6-7 minutes, I told him, Khalid sir, we will work out. Hussein is there. We'll find out what was the reason for the mistake and we will ensure that this doesn't happen again. How will you bring back the money? I said, let me investigate. Just give me 1 hour. I'll come back to you. And my dear friends, he said, okay, we are meeting again at 9:15. Okay, meeting dispersed. But he was busy on other things. Meanwhile, Hussein came to my room. We found out what was the mistake. Originally, on the fax invoice, payment was done. The second time, on the original invoice, the payment was done.
Ah, okay.
The ledger balance sheet, balance of that particular account was not attached to the payment. That was the simple systems error. Because when one person is on leave, this happens. There should be a note written somewhere on the purchase order. That was not done. Luckily for us, this particular vendor was a contractor who was doing continuous business for us, construction business. And we connected with him early morning in London because in London it is 2.5 hours behind Saudi Arabia. So around 6 o'clock, we woke up the general manager there, not general manager, the vice president there, and Hussein talked to him. I also spoke to him. And we said, we'll send you a fax saying the facts of the case. You just say accepted for adjusting in the next 2 bills. You just sign and send it, and that will save Hussein's seat. This is the way we put it across. It is not your mistake, it is our mistake. Please do this for us. And after you go to the office, please let us know. We will send you officially the fax. You can put the stamp of the company and send it back again. All this happened about 1.5 hours. By the time Khalid was busy in his own things and he came back roughly around 11 o'clock, I think. He came to my room. We are all still in the discussions on the final stages. We already got all the documentation ready. Rama, I am very, very sorry for what I said in the morning. I blew my head off for you. I forgot that you were on vacation, and he hugged me in the typical Saudi style. It's a learning lesson for me, how I used my Toastmaster techniques to tackle that particular situation. And next year I got a promotion. Because I managed the Saudis very well. That was one of the reasons in the credit given to me. So I tell people Toastmaster is a learning platform for various things. You have to apply that in your life. That is it. That is where the difference comes. Many of us don't apply what we learn in Toastmasters in our day-to-day life. Will you, any one of you believe that I was a very highly short-tempered person?
No, it's Not now
No.
anymore, I guess.
Absolutely not. I can't believe it. To me, you're the most funny person that I've met.
Exactly.
One of the funniest persons.
But if you ask my wife, she will give you a lot of stories.
I think next guest is Ramanathan Sir's wife.
So the point is, I changed. One of the speeches I gave was, anger is one letter short of danger. I just put the title as, it is one letter short of danger. And I explained how angry I was and how I changed because of Toastmasters. So my dear friends, you can change. You can change for the better. But you have to take it seriously. Toastmasters is a very serious business in our lives. Let us understand that. It is not just coming to the meeting, just doing some role and going back. No. If you take it in that sense, believe me, your life will change for the better.
Yeah, usually it takes a bit of time spent in Toastmasters to really see the value in your life. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't last so long in Toastmasters, And I just wish there was some way that people would just, okay, first meeting, second meeting, drop out. Instead of that, they just go for 4-5 meetings. Because if anybody will last for 4-5 meetings, I think they will see what Rama sir is saying about the beauty and the value you are getting in your life out of Toastmasters. So very well said, sir. Amazing insights. Amazing. So
I want to
go ahead,
add
John.
one more point, Ron, if you don't mind.
Sure, of course.
Don't take Toastmasters too seriously. If Joanne has spoken very well in evaluation contest, better than me, she deserves a prize. And I remember her evaluation that day in the area level contest was something out of the blue. None of the contestants spoke the way she spoke. That is what I was told. And I told her you are getting the first prize. What is the reason for? In life, just winning a trophy is not everything. We take too much serious. I remember very recently in one of the clubs, the Toastmasters club, one member took the role of accounter, grammarian, word master, auditor. We have got a role called auditor or quiz master. I don't know, many clubs may not be having it. The role is that they will listen to whatever is happening during the meeting and ask questions and correct answers. Sometimes we give chocolates and all, making it a bit fun also during the meeting. And she did not win a prize. She was very upset. She came, Rama sir, I am not winning the prize as the best auxiliary role order. Why like that? Simple. Because your aim is not performing the role well, your aim is to getting the prize. Change your focus. So we learn in life also the same thing. Change your focus, you will see things happening. And Toastmaster teaches you how to change the focus.
Yeah, for me, whenever I lose in a contest, it is very, very painful for me. I will confess that. Like, I would like to say I am a very sporting guy and it doesn't matter to me. But you go to a division level or you go to area level and then you lose, or even you lose at the district level. Oh man, it hurts. But I think that's also part of what we learn in Toastmasters, how to handle defeat gracefully, and just let that process happen, and then you are back to normal and okay, ho gaya. Yeah, you're right. I mean, don't take everything too seriously, but do take Toastmasters as a serious part of your life. That distinction I would like to make, right? That, yeah, don't take the winning losing part of it seriously, but Toastmasters as a part of your life should be serious because it can give you a lot of value back.
Just 1 minute. I'm sorry, I have not put my mobile on mute.
No issues.
1 second.
But this is great, Ron. Like, I'll tell you, defeat is something that is very difficult, I think, for everyone. Is there anyone in this world who says, yeah, I'm so happy I did not win the contest? So defeat is difficult. And after 20 years, Ramanathan sir, you have been contesting, like whether you win or lose, doesn't matter. You come, you contest, you learn something, you go back. My question to you is, haven't you spoken at all? 20 years, you must have given like more than, I don't know, hundreds of speeches. You must have participated in more than hundreds of contests. You have seen what is there to see. You have learned what is there to learn. What more are you going to speak about in the coming years? Because I feel sometimes, Ramanathan sir, I don't have anything to say. Like, I have to prepare for ISC contest, suppose an example. I feel I have nothing to say. And here I have someone like you who's going back again and again in ISC contest. For 20 years, you have been doing this. From where are you getting this energy and ideas? And what are you going to speak more about? Please enlighten us.
See, I had a friend, very close friend, PJJ Anthony. He was a fantastic evaluator. And I was very good at table topic. So my aim was to win against him in the evaluation contest. So I started using techniques, evaluate to motivate, what is to be done, this thing, that thing. And at the area level, there were two contestants can go. He was number one, I was number two from our club. Two contestants can go to the area level. And at the area level, I became the first prize winner. Can anybody guess in the audience why I became the first prize winner?
Any guesses you can put in chat, guys? Chat is open.
I'll
Any
give you
guesses?
10 seconds for that.
That he didn't show up, is it?
No, he showed up. He gave the evaluation also. A fantastic evaluation he gave. Everybody expected him to win the first prize.
He went over time.
Absolutely right.
Ah, okay. One of my favorite ways to lose.
So I learned on that day and told everybody time management is a very important factor which Toastmaster teaches you. People don't realize how is time management and Toastmaster is teaching me. But when you lose in a contest and that too, that day, I could see how hurt he was. Of course, after that we had a party, that is a different story. But what I'm trying to say is it happened. Don't worry about it. But it's a learning lesson again. I remember at the division contest, my humorous speech. I am considered to be a very good humorous speaker. And when I come on stage, people say, yes, you should win the contest. I said, it's okay, yaar, jaake dega. And Ed Tates, the world champion, was there as the chief guest. And I gave the speech. It was vitamin M. You all know what is M, vitamin M. What is
Money.
that?
Motivation.
Money.
Okay.
I was speaking about money, how money is very important in life. In my life, money is everything. All other things are less. That was the gist of my whole speech. And after the contest was over, we were conducting youth leadership programs. So a lot of students were with Tates and they were asking me, sir, what do you find the humorous speech here and the difference in humorous speech in America? He said some of the jokes which we will laugh a lot, here nobody laughs. Then one student asked, what is that? You know that guy who spoke about money? He asked a question. What is the root cause of all your troubles today? Tell me, friends. And Penny said, money. Yes. Please give me all your troubles. And I will take care of it. Don't worry after that. Basically, I was telling them to give me their money, but nobody laughed.
People didn't get it.
It said that, it happened because of the cultural differences. And for information, I did not win the prize. There was for some other difference. Basically, I am Ramanathan. In Saudi Arabia, such things happened in those days. Then they changed, the culture changed. So, after about 2 years, I was in Jubail. I was waiting. I missed my transport. I was not driving in Saudi Arabia. I missed my transport and I was going lift. You can take lift in Saudi Arabia. It's quite common. People will give. But I was working in an industrial area which has got security passes, special passes, and I had a special pass. So somebody is having a special pass because there are 18 petrochemical plants. If they are working there, they will have a special pass. Other persons cannot go in. So first person said, no, I don't have a special pass. So I said, I'm sorry, it's okay, no problem, go ahead. The second person came. So I said, okay. He said, okay, I am working in Ibn Sina. He was working in Ibn Sar, adjacent plants. So he said, I am working in Ibn Sar. Please hop in. So I hopped in. I said, I am Ramanathan. He said, I am Mohammed. I know you. Vitamin M man at Kobar. He was a toast. So what has happened is my speech has had an impact on people, and people remember the speech even after 2 years. And that too, he was a Pakistani and I'm an Indian.
Wow.
So I tell people, don't worry if you don't win. Have you made an impact with the people? Have you communicated what is in your heart in correct way? This is the things you look at it. Go ahead.
Very interesting. Very
Wow,
interesting.
Ramanathan, like seriously, you have answered a very big question that I had in my heart. why speak, right? Like if you don't have any more ideas left, you're right, because we may never know how many people we are actually impacting. When we speak, it doesn't matter whether we get that acknowledgement or not at that point of time. We don't know how many people we are impacting and motivating with our speech or just by being there present on that stage. So yes, go ahead, go and do join your contest, give your speeches. There's one question that Anand has put in, which is a very interesting question. Last question, Ramanathan sir, to you is, he says statistically members stick around in Toastmasters for 3 to 4 years or till they become distinguished, that is DTM. And then once that is achieved, they would cease to continue with their Toastmaster journey. What is in it for such members to continue and renew? I think one half you already said,
Yeah,
but
it's the same
would you like
variation on the question,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a very
question.
interesting one. Yes.
Very interesting question. Once you've been here 3-4 years, you've become a DTM, you've completed like 9 out of 11 parts. Now what? Why be still here? And I think nobody can answer that question better than you.
There is one person better than me.
Who, sir?
Any guess?
Who?
Okay, I'll give you a clue. He was the regional director.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah.
How many times he has come to various clubs? You can never see such a humble person. We were together done educational sessions. And he says, what we learn, we give. And these youngsters give something which we can learn. I just follow that maxim. Today, when I went to this particular 25th celebration, I saw a different style of their functioning. They were talking about this and how they were going to participate in the evaluation contest. The first time for the club. And they don't know much about evaluation. But still, they were all enthusiastic, energetic, and they wanted to compete in the evaluation contest. Then they asked, what is the Kahani contest? Then I said, Toastmaster Joan was their area director. She explained to them what is Kahani contest. Then I gave them an example of 2 to 3 minute speech of how a Kahani contest, in the Kahani contest, a Kahani can be narrated. And believe me, after that, you should have seen the magic in them. 7 members have agreed to participate in the Kahani contest out of 24. So I was happy. I could motivate them to do something which they were afraid, like what was Ramanathan in 1998. So get rid of the fear from their minds is one of the things I can do today. Then why not do it?
So basically, the contributions you're making kind of fuel your journey in Toastmasters.
Sorry, come again.
The contributions that you're making to others is what is fueling your journey, is giving you the energy to go ahead.
Exactly. And I learn also from them. For example, this podcast is something very new to me. And tomorrow, when I will share this recording with my grandson, he will be thrilled.
Absolutely.
So, he will be thrilled. And when I see his happiness in seeing me doing something which he wishes, what is life is all about? That is my question to all of you.
True.
Give whatever you have learned in your life to others. And you learn from others whatever you can. And move forward positively. Sabka Suno, man ka Karo. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank
Let's wrap
you.
up, Joan.
Yeah, any last words, Ron? Like today, to me, this podcast is not a podcast. It is a mini kahani, right? We have heard so many great stories. I can see a lot of hearts and, emojis. People are responding. And I think that comes from the heart because this is not an education session. This is life. Ron, your final thoughts on today's podcast?
Yeah, this is very different from what we normally talk. We talk about techniques and we talk about skills and we talk about this. But this podcast, I really hope a lot of people see it because it actually is a kind of opening up of the soul of Toastmasters through Ramanathan Sir. So for me, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I really hope, I hope everybody sees all our podcasts, obviously. But this one, I think, will be special for me and Joanne both. Simply because what we have spoken about is so close to our heart. So thank you very much, Ramanathan Sir. I'm so grateful for you to come here and share with us. And I'm looking forward to the next cup of coffee with you soon.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I will be forwarding this recording to some of my friends who are always pushing me that you should go more digital, including Toastmaster Vittal Madiwal. Thank you very much.
Vittal
Thank
sir,
you so
thank you
much.
very much for pushing Ramanathan Sir.
Thank you so much. we have a, what do you say, a tradition in Joe and Ro Talk Toastmasters where we summarize what we have spoken about in the last 1 hour. And honestly, I don't think I can justify what you spoke in the next couple of minutes as a summary, because it was so heartfelt, but I'll try my level best. So we started with his journey back in Jubail, Saudi Arabia, and then we came to India. And one thing that Ramanathan Sir has spoken about, and he stands for, is participation. And we know his life itself is an example of that. 20 years in Toastmasters, he's still competing every single contest that he gets a chance into. He's still participating. And he says, Sabka Suno, Man ka Karo, a new mantra that I think everybody can take back. Because whatever you listen in Toastmasters, and there are a lot of people who are going to come and give you advice, some good, some not maybe applicable to you. Doesn't matter, my dear friends. Sabka Suno, Man ka Karo. And for those who are not well versed with Hindi, Sabka Suno, Man ka Karo, let me tell you, means listen to everyone, but do only what your heart says. So that is the mantra with which this man has spent 20 years in Toastmasters. How to remain humble. This is a very important topic that we need to discuss, because as we are growing up, as we are climbing that ladder of achievement, success, and becoming better in our communication, as humans, it's very natural that some kind of arrogance, some kind of me factor, I'm the best factor comes into your heart. Learn from Ramanathan Sir. He says, ask this question every single time you go on stage. What am I here for? Think for a minute. The reason that you're in Toastmasters is not to prove that you're the best. You're here to improve yourself. So every single time, whether you are as a speaker, as a leader, as a role player, or as just a simple audience sitting in the meeting room, ask yourself this question whenever that thought comes in. Maybe I'm better. Maybe I can do this better. Ask yourself this question. What am I really here for? It is not to prove that you're better than anyone else. It is just to self-improve yourself and self-growth. One of the most amazing things that I'm taking back from you, Ramanathan Sir, tonight is what, Toastmasters creates empathy. The stories you spoke about, how somebody could find a job from, Saudi to Bahrain, or how the fraternity, the group of people, came to help you when someone in your family was sick. This is a story I feel that everybody needs to know about. We need to spread this word, that it's not just about come, speak, go, and become better. It's not about your professional life, but it's a fraternity where we create empathetic people also. And that happens only if you stay back years and years and experience the beauty of being a Toastmaster. We are here not just to help you to become better speakers and leaders, but also good friends and good human beings. That is something that Ramanathan Sir has already experienced, and I hope we all get to experience that. Very important lesson for all of us, especially Indian Toastmasters. The difference between what happens back there internationally in Gulf and India. Planning. And I think this is something that we can work for. Toastmasters is a serious business back there. They plan out everything as if it's a corporate organization and you would plan things, right? In India, he says, and even I do feel that we sometimes take it too lightly. We say, oh, ho jayega. At the last moment, we'll find a role player. At the last moment, I'll find the grammarian. And it's okay if tonight we don't have a grammarian. Obviously, it's okay if you have tried your level best and you still couldn't find it, but plan your work and then work your plan. This is another mantra that Distinguished Toastmaster Ramanathan Sir spoke about today. With empathy comes the question of leadership, and someone who has been a leader for 20 years, he says, as leaders, we need to show that we care. And that caring is what will keep your members back in your club. It was what bring more people to Toastmasters. Don't make it just about self-development. Don't make it just about speaking. Show your empathetic side. Show as leaders that you care. One thing that I always believe in, as leaders, you need to serve. You are leaders who serve. So that is something I think, Ramanathan Sir, you have exemplified in your 20 years career as Toastmaster. You're a leader who serves, and you're a leader who cares. Toastmasters, is it too much for you guys? Like, the summary is, I know, not a short one, but we have so many great lessons. I can't stop right now because this is something great. If you feel like Toastmasters is too much and it is taking up too much of your time, listen to what Ramanathan Sir says. He says, compartmentalize your life. Have the guts to say no. Give yourself a personal time. He does that for 2 hours. He's MIA, missing in action, because he has his own personal time. And plan out your Toastmasters routine and plan out your Toastmasters work. include your family. You want to know how to do that? Listen to the podcast, my friends. I'm not going to give out everything in this summary. Does Toastmasters impact your outside world? Does it help you there? Again, come back, listen to the podcast. You have a wonderful story, a real life example of how Ramanathan Sir in his own life used the tips and techniques of Toastmasters training and got a promotion in the end, right? Ramanathan Sir, thank you so much for that. In the end, he says, you don't know how many people you're impacting when you're speaking. So whenever you're in doubt that should I do it more? Should I stop now? You have achieved the DTM level. You have been here 3-4 years. You have seen everything. You have done everything. If you are at that position right now, my dear friends, listen to this man. He is right when he says, you never know how many people you are impacting, whether it's in a club meeting or in a district contest. Just go and speak. The impact happens. What you say matters. And last but not the least, the final lesson that I am taking tonight is what we learn, we give. And when we learn from others, we take. Let me repeat, what we learn, we give. And when we learn from others, we take. What a great message, not just to be a great Toastmaster, but also to be a great human being. Thank you so much, Ramanathan Sir. My summary is like a big thing. I know so much to learn, my dear friends. So many different stories and anecdotes tonight. This is not about whether you can be an ESC champion or how to write a speech. This is about life itself, beyond Toastmasters, beyond speaking and leadership. So do go back and listen to that podcast. Thank you so much. We'll see you again in a fortnight with someone special. But till then, signing off, Joanne and Ron from Joe and Ro Talk Toastmasters. Thank you.
Good night.